Bo, it has come to my attention that 16, 17, 18-year-olds, well, 18-year-olds, I guess, don't really count in this equation, but 16 and 17-year-olds are incredibly intelligent. They know exactly what they're doing, okay?
Yep.
And they're going to be given the vote. They're going to be given the vote in the next election, supposedly. So not just that, because that has been a big point of contention, obviously, but hidden within it was also a change to voter ID, which meant voter ID now also can encompass a bank card. Just a bank card, no photo. Don't need a photo. No, just a bank card. Just a bank card. So obviously this is subversive. Obviously this is a clear, brazen attempt, blatant as well. 2 Bs, brazen and blatant attempt to subvert voting, rig elections from Labour. That's how I see it. I don't really see it as anything else, to be fair. So I thought we'd talk about it. What do you reckon? You heard about this? You seen about this?
Yeah, just one more example of the Labour government. Yeah, blatant is the word. Blatantly subverting our system for their own benefit, or for what they think is their own benefit. I think it may well backfire on them. But yeah, so just lowering the bar on who can vote or how you can become eligible to vote. Just like how the Dems wanted to do, or did do to some extent, in the United States. Yeah, so in other words, the bottom line is first-generation immigrants that might not have all the necessary paperwork. That's what it is. That's what it's really boiling down to. And just beyond that, even more over-the-top, overt voter fraud. Yeah, it's crazy. So I read somewhere that they wanted to make it that you're just automatically enrolled on the register.
Yes.
So again, just lowering the bar so more and more people can vote. I remember I was at it must have been 2 general elections ago. I was at my polling station, and there was some woman there, some middle-aged woman, some Karen, some Eastern European Karen, arguing with the with the administrators there, saying, "Why can't I vote?" And they're like, "You're not on the register. You gave us your address, and you're not eligible to vote." And she's like, "Well, that's not fair. That's not fair." And she had a very, very strong Eastern European accent. And in like the 3-4 minutes I was in the room, I gathered that she was like Romanian or something. And she was throwing a real strop, like making a scene, raising her voice that she didn't get to vote. Okay, it's for people like that, so people like that can vote.
Yeah,
that's what all of that is. But as for the 16 and 17-year-old thing, it's so retarded. Now, usually I would caveat something like saying, "Oh, I hope that 16 and 17-year-olds out there aren't upset with what I'm about to say." No. 16 and 17-year-olds are largely idiots. When I was 16 or 17, or even when I was like under 25, I was an idiot. Right? I did my whole undergrad, and just because you've read a few books, even, right? It doesn't make anyway. 16 and 17-year-olds should not be able to vote. Right, if you're not allowed to like drink, you're not allowed to like join the army. There's loads of things that you're not eligible to do before you're 18. Loads of things, right? So, but you can vote now. You can have a say in who runs the nation. It's pure subversion. It's disgusting. It's disgusting to me. It really is up there with, subverting the nation. Oh God, it's just endless with them, isn't it? It's just endless.
It really is. It really is. I mean, I'm laughing at your reaction, but no, you're completely right. Look, I'm not going to pull any punches either. 16, 17-year-olds, you're absolute imbeciles. You're a bunch of morons. You know, I thought I knew stuff when I was 16 and 17.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
I demonstrably didn't. And I tell you what, you'll look back, you know, when you're twice your age plus more, and you'll go, yeah, God damn, I was a moron, because that's what everyone does. Everyone does know better than their younger self, and there is no world in which you will not look back on your younger self and go, good God, what an imbecile I was, what a total deluded fool, what a brainlet.
Yeah. uninformed, that you can merely parrot what your parents say. That's it. That's it. That's all you've got when you're 16.
Yeah. Or just rebel against them as a petty means of, just rebellion, I guess, as a petty form of sort of, I'm just going to try, I could stick one to you. I'm going to do the opposite. So, yeah, well done. Well done. Well done.
I guess a lot of teenagers go through this, but I remember being 15 or 16 or 17 and honestly thinking to myself, like, I'm smart. I'm a clever person.
Yeah.
Like the depths of my knowledge and emotional life are like unparalleled, right? Just insane stuff, completely insane stuff. Right? Your perspective on everything is all kinds of off and crazy. Yeah. And then by the time I'm in my mid-20s, even looking back at myself then and being like, whoa, I was sort of a bit mad. And then in my mid-30s, looking back at myself in my mid-20s and being like, yeah, you underestimated that, if anything.
Yeah.
Like my 16, 17-year-old self shouldn't have been trusted with anything.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have been trusted with a hamster or something.
Yeah.
Or, let alone the massive responsibility of being able to vote.
Yeah. I mean, so let's go through this, right? Because this is the Labour Party's manifesto. Included, well, not this isn't their manifesto, but it says it included the following 4 commitments for upholding democracy. Now, so that extends voting rights to 16-year-olds and 17-year-olds, review voter ID rules, improve voter registration. So that's what they're calling it.
Improve.
Yeah, that's what they're calling it. And let's just kind of go through this bit by bit. So votes at 16. So the policy paper confirms the government's intention to reduce the voting age to 16 for all elections. The government says the voting age will be reduced in time for the next general election. How convenient. The next election must be held by 15th of August 2029, but the Prime Minister has the power to call one earlier. The policy paper says that lowering the voting age will lead to more young people engaging with democracy. Votes at 16 is critical to engaging young people in our democracy. Our democracy. Yeah, ours. Yeah, ours. Yeah, I'm sure ours. Empowering them to participate in society and affecting real change both locally and nationally. Opponents of lowering the voting age question young people's maturity and life experience, and some commentators worry about the potential effect on elections. However, research has shown that there has been no effect on election results in the few countries where the voting age has been lowered to 16, and that young people enfranchised at 16 are more likely to vote than young people enfranchised at 18. Well, it's just so...
bullshit. What research?
Yeah, exactly. What research affected it in what way? Because if it's skewed to, if it's done by left wingers and it's been positively shown that left wingers have got in power, which they clearly have, because that's the entire Western world at this point in time, then I would say that that's negatively affecting things. Young people are easily led. They are easily indoctrinated. They are malleable in their grey matter. These are all facts, like statistical facts. You can pull it up. The psychology of a young person. It's not up for debate, right? It's just not up for debate. And so I think it's fascinating because one of the arguments that Keir Starmer made when he was in his interview was, well, they can pay taxes. They can also fight, in our wars and all this kind of stuff. And all I could think to myself was, right, okay, so the argument is that they can pay taxes, right? Well, let's take that one step further to its logical conclusion then. Let's remove the client class entirely from society. Only those that are net contributors to the tax pool should be able to vote. That's what I would do, personally. That is what someone who, gets in power, who would get my vote, would do. That's what I would vote for. No, remove the client class from society. All this is Labour realizing, in my view anyway, realizing that they have lost the Muslim client class, right? They've lost them. They know that they've lost them. They know that they're screwed by the next election. And they're trying to generate another client class, another class of people that they can please. Mark my words. Here's my hot prediction, okay? And I could be wrong, okay? I'm open to it, but I believe what we'll see now is this happening, this going through. And when it goes through, you'll also begin to see the dominoes fall. You'll see Keir Starmer putting in line in Parliament a whole bunch of new policies to directly benefit 16 and 17-year-olds. There'll be TikTok specific from Labour catering directly to 16 and 17-year-olds, and you'll see the dominoes of subversion and psychological warfare being played against children to sort of co-opt them into the client class, get them to vote, promise them things, and secure that vote moving forwards, because that's all they're doing. But I say remove the client class entirely. Net taxpayer, only net contributors to the tax pool should be dictating where that money goes. I'm so sick of my money being spent and decided where it's being spent by people that just drain it, have never contributed to society. Anyway, I ran out of the way.
These are children, right? You're not legally an adult until you're 18, so it's children. He's enfranchising children. It's crazy. And as for the tax-paying thing, like technically, yeah, you can get a job and there'll be some sort of tax for 16 or 17-year-olds that work, but not much. In fact, they are exempt in loads of different ways. And if you don't earn, before you earn a certain amount of money, certain threshold, I can't remember what it is because I haven't been earning that small amount. I can't remember. It's like 10 or 12 or 15,000 pounds, something like that. Something until you earn something like that, you don't have to pay any tax. So a 16-year-old that's got a Saturday job will probably not even reach that threshold, let's say. So it's a push even to say, oh, they contribute with tax, so they should be enfranchised. Well, that's actually quite a push to say something like that. But I think this will backfire because, as you said, Labour had always traditionally, up until only a few years ago, could sort of rely on the Muslim vote, or even more broadly, the sort of the diversity vote, the brown vote, not just Muslims, all sorts of minorities. Well, they can't count on that anymore because they've wised up and they can vote for their own independence. Or, mark my words, before long they'll just be a full-blown Islamic Party of Britain or something like that. And they'll all vote en bloc, like 99 or even 100% nearly. Well, they'll all vote for that and they'll all flee Labour and they'll never vote Labour again. Why would they?
Yeah.
The same will go for other things. There'll be like at some point, there'll be like a Bangladeshi Party of Britain or whatever it is. Okay, so they've lost that, or they're going through the process of losing all of that. So they're hoping that this other trope, this other cliche, that young people are all leftists. Well, again, I think that was very largely true a few years ago. Not so much anymore. Not so much anymore. It looks to be. And it looks to be, some of the data I've seen, it looked all across the Western world, including Australia and stuff. It looks like younger people, boys, it's a bifurcation. Boys are voting right. They're much more likely to vote right. Girls are much more likely to vote left or green, or something like that. So it's not just a simple case of it, which is obviously the Labour calculation. If we let 16 and 17-year-olds vote, then that's just millions of more votes for us. Slam dunk, end of discussion. No, I don't think so. No, I think this may well backfire. I think you're going to give loads of votes to Lib Dems, Greens, Reform, whoever's on the right. That it's not a slam dunk they all vote Labour. Not at all. Not at all. And the other thing I said earlier, which I think is really, really true, I honestly think this is badly true. 16, 17-year-olds are going to vote for whatever their parents whatever their parents do, whatever your household does. There'll be a few, as you say, will deliberately do the opposite as a knee-jerk thing, not based on any ideological position, not based on any actual intellectual understanding of the issues or anything. Yeah, there'll be a few that will vote the opposite of their parents or their household or their family, because quite often, the household is a Tory voting household, a Labour voting household, or even your whole family. Nearly everyone in your family votes Lib Dem, other than crazy Uncle Dave, who votes something else, right? Your family or your household all vote one way. That the kids will just, the 16, 17-year-olds largely will do that.
Yeah.
I know, again, when I was 16 or 17, and once in a blue moon, it might come up as discussion, hardly ever, because 16 and 17-year-olds aren't really political in the broadest sense. They are
No, they
actually
don't.
they're more on now than in the 1990s when I was that age. But nonetheless, you care more about like school, girls, football, like normal stuff. You don't care about like inheritance tax and immigration policy very much when you're 16. But anyway, sometimes when it came up in discussion, it was 100% all the kids voted, all the kids said they would vote if they had a vote of what their parents did.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think, I hope this backfires, and this is one more stain on the record that I personally will never forget.
Yeah.
I'll never ever forget. This again is a crime. This is a crime against our country and the system.
Yeah. It's also really dumb. I mean, just in their own logic as well, empowering them to participate in society. Well, why don't you get all the people that are on the dole litter picking, doing rubbish picking,
Yeah.
doing flower arranging, putting up floral designs in local towns? Why don't you get people to actually work for their money? We've got a welfare state and yet everything's falling apart, but you've got literally people just sat around doing nothing. Make people work for their money. That will participate in society. That will make them participate in society. I'm so sick of people sat around taking my money for nothing. And don't get me wrong, ladies and gents watching this, I've said it before and I'll say it again. I'm a proponent of the welfare state in some circumstances. I'm not actually completely heartless. I'm pro welfare state when it comes to, that there are unequivocally people, there's that word again, that need our arms around them because, and through no fault of their own, they've wound up in that position. But it's idiots like this that don't do anything that are sapping the money which those people could have, and they could have a much better life, significantly better life. And so that's my issue with the welfare state as a whole. But this is just dumb, empowering them to participate in society. Yeah, there's better ways of doing that, mate. There's way better ways of doing that. Way better ways. Voter ID, again, yeah, just the take home from this is that they want to change it so you can just use a bank card effectively. It says the government will also expand government issued digital ID. So there you go. That will just be given to random third worlders that have popped up for sure. I can guarantee that. But it's available in the government UK website and allow them to be used as ID. And then it just says this, yeah. So providing a bank card displays the elector's name. Oh, excellent. The government says that over 96% of people aged 14 and over in the UK have a bank card. Yeah, random third worlders are given banks as well, pretty much. Like they're given a Visa card. So, great, excellent, thanks. Why is a bank? What? Well, we know why is a bank. It's just subversion. It's an attempt to rig an election. And then this I thought was interesting. I need to do a little bit more research on this because I'm not actually aware of what this is. But a voter authority certificate. That's a form of free voter ID, free photo ID available from local councils for use in polling stations. Now, when local councils are in cahoots with governments to import, these third worlders all over the place, I don't doubt that particular thing would be used. I don't doubt that. I mean, I don't know enough about it, as I said from the off. I'll hold my hands up. I need to do a little bit more, but that sounds awfully sus. I mean, I've never heard of that before. You would only need to hear of these kind of things if you're not English, if you're not Scottish, if you're not Welsh, if you're not Irish, right? You wouldn't need to hear about any of this other stuff. You just know because you've got your passport, your driver's license. And then this, as you alluded to. So basically, the UK government wants to reduce millions of voters who may be missing from electoral registers by moving towards an automated registration system. It says this should initially be done by improving data sharing and in the longer term by testing innovative approaches before permanently implementing automatic voter registration. So great. Some people don't want to vote.
So in other words, you can come over illegally on a boat across the channel, smuggled across on some dinghy.
Oh, no.
Go straight to not be detained, get a bank card because the banks don't care, and then where you came from or how they don't care at all. So you've got a bank card. That's it. You can vote now. Brilliant. Fucking brilliant.
It's good, isn't it? good, isn't it? One can only hope that this will backfire spectacularly.
I hope so.